Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome again to another back office function training seminar or webinar with myself, Aidan Ward for Global Unit Pay. Hope that you're all well on this amazing Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, can I please get some tens in the chat if you can see me correctly and hear me correctly? I'll just wait for everyone to go and pop in all of that sweet. Yep, beautiful. Hey, Brianna. Oh, I even got a smiley face. Fantastic. Now, before I go into the introductions as to who I am, I first want to go and address a couple of things. We have had such an insane 7 days since the last session. There is so many things happening with Global Unit Pay. Now, this webinar is not really the best one for that to go and be disclosed, but do definitely keep your eye out on the back office as well as Marshall's training tomorrow. He might go and let you all in on a little something as to what we've got in store. But without further ado, to everyone who this is your first session of this Global Unit Pay training that you've been to and you don't necessarily know who I am, can I please, sorry, next slide, please. Yeah, there we go. Let me introduce you to myself. My name is Aidan Ward. I'm Project Manager Assistant for Global Unit Pay. I am co-host of the Life of the Brothers of Everidge podcast. I'm an agent in the Everidge Partner Program, as well as a member of the Generals of the World for Peace. Hey, Hannah. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, next slide, please. So today's session is about showing you all how to go and use your Global Unit Pay account, okay? I want everyone to go and imagine that they've already gone through all the setup, they've been verified, but now they're sitting with their Global Unit Pay account. They're just like, well, what do I do? This is what today's session is for. Now, first and foremost, you want to go and log on to www.gtinet.ch. That is the domain name, and that is the way that you'll reach this landing page that you see before you. Now, what you'll need to go and do is provide the email address that you registered with Global Unit Pay. It should be the exact same one that you use for Everidge as well. And that's how we go and get both your Everidge back office as well as your Global Unit Pay back office to actually go and sync up with each other. So if you've got commissions in the back office of your Everidge account and you want to go and shift them over to Global Unit Pay, well, that is the best way to go and do so. And of course, enter in your password that you chose to go and do when you went and set up your account. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, when you go and log in, you'll be met with this page here. And today's session is just going to go really straightforward in this order, okay? So if you see where I've gone and highlighted my name, that is the profile settings. That's the first topic that we will go and run down. The second one will be how to open up a business account. The third one, and this is going to be the bulk of today's session, is the actual dashboard itself. Now, it's not just about the quantum assets that you can see highlighted there. It'll also include digital assets, how to go and open up an IBAN and what an IBAN actually is, how the cards are going to go and function, especially considering we have the virtual cards still available at the moment. And then, of course, how you can go through your activity log and find, which sort of transaction. So you have that peace of mind, inside, so that you know where each transaction has gone through, what's happening with your account, whether some are pending, whether some are complete, whether some haven't even gone through. Okay, and when you're for a lot of merchants who are chasing up, payments to go and be coming into their Global Unit Pay account, then that's a really cool feature because then for sure as to, what's happening with every single transaction, every single operation within your account. At the end of the day, it's your money. You deserve to actually know exactly what's happening at all given times, with your wealth, both incoming and outgoing. And finally, what we'll be touching on is just the settings component, as well as how to go and pair your Unitex Exchange account with your Global Unit Pay account. Now, I do want to address as well, there was a question last week about, if you've gone and set up your two-factor authentication, how do you go and deactivate it? I wouldn't recommend deactivating it, but if you absolutely have to, you'll need to go through to the Google or Authenticator app itself and delete it through there, and that'll go and deactivate it. So just wanted to go and touch on that one before we move into the presentation. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, like I said, we're going to go into profile first. So what you want to do is you want to start by clicking on your name that I went and pictured to allow the drop-down menu to actually present the menu. Now, what that'll, it's very simple, and this will only go and take a few short minutes to actually cover. All right. So you've got your name followed by the email that is registered, of course, your unique user ID, which is one of the most vital pieces of information that you need to go and have memorized, written down. It's basically the bread and butter of all of the operations that involve your Global UniPay account and one of our partnered projects as well, okay? Then, of course, you've got your profile settings there. And what I really love is the support inbox right there, bang smack in the middle. So if you have any questions relating to any further operations within your account, if you're having trouble with onboarding, if you need to just have general Global UniPay support, or even security matters that you want to go and address. We will get into that a little bit later in depth, but your support inbox is basically going to go show all notifications, all correspondence that you've received and also made with our support team. Next slide, please. Okay, so the second component is how to go and open a business account. Now, I want to go and clarify that with business account, this might not go and suit absolutely everyone, okay? This is going to be amazing for businesses that have got, payments that will need to go and be processed, that, you might have staff that may want to go and come under Global UniPay as well. And this is where the merchant sector of it. So I just want to go and clarify the business, just because you might have a business, and you have an ABN and you want to go and have this as a separate business account, it might not necessarily suit your needs. And that's why it's really important that you go and collaborate and speak with our support team so that they can go and say, okay, well, actually, no, it sounds like you might just need an IBAN rather than a business account as well. You do have the option of having both, but it's really important to do your own due diligence and your own research as to what's going to go and benefit your own needs, for you. So without further ado, what we want to do is we want to go and click the Open Business Account if we've gone and realized that, yes, this is the merchant sector of the Global UniPay is something that I need for my business, for my company, for my corporation, foundation, you name it, okay? Next slide, please. Cool. So what you want to do is you want to indicate if you are a representative or the owner of the company that is being registered, okay? That's first and foremost. Second step is to go and provide, of course, the company name. Next, you want to go and enter in the associated tax number of the company. Now, it could be, if you're a sole trader, it might also go and be the same as your personal tax file number. But generally speaking, if it is a company or a business that you are looking to go and register, then hey, it'll be completely different. You will know those details yourself, okay? Next step is to go and provide the registered address for the company. Once again, similar to the tax number, if it is the same, if the address registered for the company is the same as your own, and you'll know that information, this is where you'll go and provide it as well, okay? Next step, number 5, we're making tracks, ladies and gentlemen, is to go and select the operating currency for your merchant account. Now, you can go and do that with your personal account as well, out of Euro, USD, and Swiss franc. And this is basically how your account is going to be both incoming and outgoing, going to be operated primarily from. Okay, so I would imagine that a lot of people would go and either select Euro or USD. There will be more currencies integrated as time goes on. But for the meantime, we do have the 3 Euro, USD, and Swiss franc. Next, you'll need to go and read and acknowledge the written disclaimer, as there is a fee to open the business account, which, like I mentioned before, is really important that we go and identify that, okay, the merchant account is exactly what we need, or what I need, right? And that's why I said that it's really important to do that due diligence, so that you can go and indicate whether you need just an IBAN, or you need just a merchant account, or you may need both to go and whatever need. But if you do select the merchant account, it'll either cost you 2,000 US dollars, 1,500 Swiss franc, or 1,500 euro. And it's really important that we have those funds in our personal and individual global unit pay account before actually proceeding with this step. Once you've gone and acknowledged that and you're okay with it, you've got all the funds in there, ready to rock and roll, all you need to do is just click the big green button, which will go and appear, and it'll go and highlight to go and proceed to the next step. Next slide, please. So as you can see, I didn't have the funds in my account, and that's why it's gone and popped up with the warning saying you have $2,000 amount pending payment for your business account activation. I don't need the merchant account. Therefore, I wouldn't need to go and actually set this one up. See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? Can I please grab a 2 in the chat if all of that makes sense so far? Looking for numero dos. Thanks, Hannah. Brianna, beautiful. Awesome, guys. Fantastic. Just wanted to go and make sure, because, we don't want to go and, seem like we're misleading everyone, and, it'll go and be beneficial and everyone's needs are completely different as well. Now, moving on, okay, now that we've got it and just touched on that. As you can see, this is basically the same sort of dashboard that you have with your individual account. At the moment, you have topping up funds, exchange, and transferring funds, both within Global Unit Pay and also externally as well. And I will go and drop some really, really exciting information towards the end of this presentation. Okay, next slide, please. Cool. Like I mentioned, add or top up, exchange, and transfer. And that's going to be the same for your individual account as well. And like I said, this is your asset dashboard. We've kept all the functions very, very simple, where you have the option of adding the funds, exchanging between available currencies, and transferring funds both internally and externally through our platform. Each currency has their own specific actions and their own specific buttons, okay? So if you were to go and hit the topping up funds in Swiss franc, well, you'd only be topping up your Swiss franc quantum asset, okay? If you were exchanging your USD to euro, all right, you would go and click the exchange button in the euro. And I'll go and explain a little bit more in depth as we move on. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, to add money through a bank transfer, ladies and gentlemen, this I would imagine would be not the more common out of the two, whether it's through credit card or whether it's through bank transfer. It is really, really simple nonetheless, okay? So in this instance, we've gone and chosen euro. We've gone and hit the big plus button that goes and says top up or add funds to the account. And we're going to go and enter in the deposit amount. And hypothetically speaking, I've gone and entered in 100 as you've gone and seen. And step number 2 is to confirm that you've read the terms of use. Now, there was a question from the Italian room last week in regards to the terms of use. Look, I would love to go and include it in this presentation. However, that would be an enormous amount of slides, an enormous amount of work for our translators as well, just because our website hasn't yet been integrated with different languages just yet. But the terms of use is available for anyone to go and read at any given time, and you can go and use Google Translate with the Chrome extension or through your browser. Most of them do have it to go and read through. And I strongly urge everybody to go and read the terms of use at least once. All right, that's to just go and make sure that you know what's expected from us at Global Unit Pay. We know what's expected of you, and you actually doing things by the book, you know, with no suspicious activity, because we, as I've said many times before, this is a long-lasting project that we want to go and see, you know, benefit a lot of people, majority of the world, not just those who are in Global Unit Pay now, but everyone in the future who hasn't yet been introduced to Global Unit Pay and decides to actually go and jump on this platform. We want this to go and be something that lasts for decades. Okay. Now, once you've gone and read through the terms of use, I want you to just be made aware of the fee amount. Okay. Now, with Euro, it is 25 euros to go in and add funds via a bank transfer. For USD, it's $45. And for Swiss franc, it is 45 Swiss franc. Now, the reason why I said, next slide, please. The reason why I said that, you know, the bank transfer may not be the most common option, which you'll go and see in the next slide when I speak about credit card, it is considerably less, okay? But before we get into that, just note that we've gone through all that steps, and now we're ready to go and transfer some money via a bank transfer from an external account into Global Unit Pay. Okay, so what we want to go and do is note all of these details here, and we will have to go and enter them in through our external financial institution so that it actually goes through Global Unit Pay. Okay, now you can see all the details there. The IBAN for GUP is there, the SWIFT, the beneficiary name, all of those details, you will need to go and enter them in when you decide to go and do the transfer, okay? But you will need to make sure that your unique user ID is actually in the description or the reference for the bank transfer. Otherwise, it will not be processed. Is that understood? Can I please get some pluses in the chat if that is understood? I know Hannah and Brianna will go and enter them in. They always do. Next slide, please. Told you. Thanks, girls. Awesome. Now, to add money via a credit card, like I said, this is probably going to be the more welcomed and more common, you know, way to go and top up your account. Like I said, it's going to be considerably more cost effective for you, as well as easier as well. Now, what you wanted to go and do, very similar to the bank transfer, is to enter in the deposit amount, followed by your credit card details, acknowledge the terms of use, and also just note the fee as well. It's 6.5% across every single currency, as opposed to 25 euros and 45 US and 45 Swiss franc. That's more cost effective. Do the option that's going to go and be more cost effective for yourself. If these are low transactions, credit card. If it's going to go and be a high amount and you need a fixed fee, and it's going to go and be better for your wealth and for your wallet, then definitely do the bank transfer. Understood? Lovely. Once you've gone and confirmed the terms of use, the button there that goes and says add money will go and highlight green, and you'll be ready to go and click it, and it'll happen like that. Okay. Next slide, please. Cool. So to exchange between currencies, whenever we're exchanging, we need to go and know the order of the originating currency to be transferred into the desired currency. So in this instance, with your, we've gone and selected that I want to transfer my euros into US, okay? My euros into US. And that'll be the same if you wanted to go and transfer your US into euros or to Swiss franc. You would go and put in US at the top, followed by the desired currency that you want to go and exchange into as second. All right. Next, enter in the amount that you'd like to go and exchange. There is a little button there that goes and says max, which will go and just take all of the funds out of your originating quantum asset, and then just go and transfer them straight into the desired asset. All right. Just note as well that it is 1% to go and exchange of the originating currency amount. Next slide, please. Lovely. Okay, so we've gone through adding and topping up funds. We've gone through to exchanging. And now we're going to go into the transferring assets, sending our money to either another global unit pay account or to an external global unit pay account. Now, transfer of assets. This is between global unit pay accounts, so peer-to-peer. There is absolutely no charge for peer-to-peer transfers whatsoever. You can go and send them through to your friends, other partners, your downline, your upline, your family. So long as they are global unit pay users, then it'll be completely free. Now, you want to go and select the asset currency that you wish to go and transfer from, enter in the amount, and then for your recipient, you either need to go and enter in the email address, the phone number that they've gone and used on their global unit pay account, or their unique user ID. Like I said, the unique user ID is one of the most vital pieces of information that you should go and actually memorize or write down. Very, very similar to any other details, especially when it comes to global unit pay. Next, after that, you can go and enter in a comment that you would like. That's just for their reference, for your reference, so that you can go and find which transaction, whether it's still pending, whether it's been approved and sent and whatnot. It's just for your own and their information as well. And then once you've done that, there's a button that'll go and show up that'll go and say transfer. You just have to click that and it'll be like that. Next slide, please. Okay, so transfer of assets, and that should say externally, out of global unit pay account. So this is to go and transfer money outside of global unit pay. Now, at the moment, we have to a bank account. You can go and do it through a SEPA transfer or an international transfer via a SWIFT or an ABA or a BSB or a BIC number. All right, and just so that I can, I suppose, educate you for the difference between a SWIFT transfer and a SEPA transfer. SEPA is for banking transfers within the single European payment area. It is an umbrella of countries. It is a certain amount of countries. And you can go and transfer money between one of those banks to another bank so long as they're within that umbrella. For countries outside, or for banking institutions outside of that SEPA area, you will typically use a BIC, SWIFT, ABA, or BSB number. I know that within our, here in Australia, for our banks, we go and use a BSB and a SWIFT number for the international transfers. Your BSB is typically going to be for domestics, but all the Australians out there probably know that one. So how do we go and transfer money outside of global unit pay? Well, it's very, very simple. You just have to decide whether this is going to be a SEPA transfer. And if you're in the European payment area, then you'll know that it's a SEPA. If your recipient is also in that same area. If you're in the European area and they are outside, then it will be a SWIFT transfer. If you're internationally away from that SEPA area and you're transferring into the SEPA area, it will still be a SWIFT transfer. Once you've done through that, select the asset that you want to go and have funds sent from, and then just enter in the amount. once again, there's that max button as well that we went and saw a few slides back, that will go and just as a hotkey, I suppose, which will go and exhaust all funds out of the desired asset. You don't have to go and click that if it's not something that you don't want to go and do. Next, you'll need to go and supply the IBAN account number that will receive the funds, followed by the BIC, SWIFT, ABA, or BSB number to go and receive. Okay, next slide, please. Following that, you'll need to go and provide the personal details of the recipient's bank account. And this is to go and verify funds that are sent to the correct location. So the name of your receiver's account, the address that they've gone and registered, and then finally, this is something that I personally would do. If this is going to be a person or a bank account that you are going to do multiple transfers, then it'll be very wise to go and hit save beneficiary so that you can save yourself a whole lot of time. All right, you don't have to go through all this again for every single transfer if it's the same account details. Okay, so once we've gone and entered in the beneficiary details, we've entered in all the correct account details and the SWIFT number, and we've sent the we've gone and indicated the amount we want to go and send out. We want to go and click I confirm that I have read the terms of use. Once again, you only have to go and read it once to know what's expected. And then just also note the fee for the transfer. So for Euro, Swiss franc, and USD, it is just 30 of that specific currency. Okay. Now, before I move on to the next slide, we're missing something. We are missing. Just go back one more slide, please. Thank you. We are missing something, right? We've got transfers within global UnitPay accounts. We've got transfers to bank accounts outside of global UnitPay. And I'm very, very proud and very excited to go and announce, and I can go and say this, no, there is no limit on how much you can go and send out, Hannah, but I will go and address that question a little bit later on, all right? The big news is that we are trialing at the moment the possibility of adding an option to go and transfer out to a external credit card. All right, that is so exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I need some pluses in the chat. This is awesome, all right? This is going to go and once again follow same suit that we've got for topping up and adding funds to our account, whereas you'll have an option to not always have to go and outlay a 30 euros or 30 USD or 30 Swiss franc just for a transfer, especially if it's a small transfer as well. That can kind of be a little bit of a deterrent, and we don't want that. So we are still just in the trialing phase at the moment. We if all goes well, we will go and integrate it. But yes, that is very, very, very exciting news. All right, next slide, please. Okay, now it wouldn't, Brianna, I will go and address this question at the end. Okay, so it wouldn't be a payment gateway in 2021 without digital assets, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and USD, or Tether, basically. The four that we have integrated at the moment. Now, we are in a very, very fortunate position to actually be partnered with BitNuck. Okay, next slide, please. And the reason why I go and say that is that BitNuck is a Bitcoin vendor. They came into power and prominence back in 2017, and they go and buy and sell Bitcoin to other external financial institutions, and we are one of them. And I'll show you exactly how cool that is when we get into the Bitcoin part. All right, so first off, we want to go and add a new digital asset. All right, now when you first jump onto your global UnitPay account, you've never gone and used it, you won't go and see the Ethereum button, you won't go and see the Bitcoin button. All right, there will be a a little box that goes and says add digital asset. And when you go and click that add digital asset, you'll be able to go and add Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, USDC, and any other cryptocurrencies or digital assets that we integrate from now until, whenever you go and see this presentation. As always, read the terms of use, select which digital assets that you would like to go and attach to your platform portfolio. And once you've gone and ticked all the ones that you want, click add new, and we'll move on to the next slide. So now that you've gone and added all the digital assets that are best for you, you'll go and see something that looks exactly like this. You'll see your Ethereum, you'll see your Bitcoin, you'll go and see your USDC and your Tether. Now, what's really, really cool that I want to go and make your attention to is there's a little, I suppose, 4-dot button at the top right-hand corner of each of these digital assets. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is this function? Well, I'll tell you. The more integrated digital assets that we go and have within Global Unit Pay, there's not going to be so much space to go and have every single one of them showing, boom, on our platform portfolio, right? Which makes complete sense. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to go and change the order of the layout so that you can go and see, like if you're only dealing in, say, Ethereum and Bitcoin and Tether, and you're not doing USDC, then you might just want to go and have that out. If we go and integrate other cryptocurrencies, like, say for argument's sake, Litecoin, Ripple, Crew, I don't know what digital currencies we're going to go and add to it, but just as for argument's sake, you'll be able to go and change the layout so that you can go and see the ones that you're primarily using, and you won't have to go and search and find them all the time. It's just for user accessibility. Once you've gone and done that, what you want to do is click on the symbol of the digital asset. We'll move on to the next slide. Cool. Now, I spoke about Bitnock earlier. We have an option within Global Unit Pay to either go and buy Bitcoin at a market value, which goes and refreshes every 15 seconds, or we can decide to put a limit that we are wanting to go and put in to go and purchase Bitcoin or Ethereum or the other digital assets that we go and integrate. You are in the driver's seat. You dictate what you want to go and pay for it, and as soon as the available digital asset reaches that market price, or the price of the limit that you've decided, then it will automatically go and buy the funds, the digital asset for you, so that you don't have to worry about it, right? Which I think is amazing. Alternatively, for the market value, you can go and sit and just continually refresh and refresh and refresh until you go and see the market go down and the digital asset drop in price. So you're like, oh, well, actually, that's a bargain. Boom, I'm going to go and purchase it. It's almost kind of like a soft core trading, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So moving on, how do we go and buy these we'll say Bitcoin in this instance? First, you want to go and select which currency you'd like to go and buy your chosen digital asset, whether it's Euro, USD, Swiss franc, followed by nominating the amount that you wish to go and purchase. Now, what you can also go and do is set the limit, like I said. So if you wanted it to go and be at, say, 33,000, then as soon as that goes in, so long as you have the funds in your Global Unit Pay account, in your Euro or USD, quantum asset account, then it'll automatically get deducted, which I think is really, really cool. Anyway, moving on. Once you've gone and done so, hit the buy once you've gone and confirmed. We'll move on to the next slide. Cool. So selling digital assets. Select which currency you'd like your asset to go and be paid in. This is a good example for the market function as well. So for sell, very similar, you do have your limit feature as well as your market feature. And you can go and refresh and make sure that, you know, if your digital asset goes and reaches a certain price and you go and sell higher than what you went and bought, well, then that's an absolute win. You want to go and select the currency you'd like your asset to go and be paid in. You want to nominate the quantity of your chosen digital asset to be sold. So you go and nominate how much Bitcoin, how much Ethereum, how much Tether. And your sell price is determined by the market value. Of course, market value function is only available for Ethereum and for Bitcoin, of course, because they aren't stable coins. But like I said, the offer goes and refreshes every 15 seconds. So it's pretty cool. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, for sending and receiving digital assets, very, very similar. We've all gone and sent Bitcoin to other wallets or cryptocurrencies to external wallets. It's very, very similar. I still haven't had the time to go and do this send slide for this. I don't know why we went and skipped sending digital assets. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for sending, very, very simple. You just have to go and nominate the amount that you'd like to go and send your digital asset, followed by the wallet address, and then you'll need to go and hit send. Let's move on to the receiving digital assets. You want to, once again, ensure the amount to be received meets the minimal transaction threshold. And that's only for Bitcoin. The minimum deposit amount needs to go and be 0.0015 of a Bitcoin. Lower deposit amounts will be declined. Why is that? Well, the deposit fee is 0.0005 of a Bitcoin. So anytime that anytime that someone else is receiving, anybody else who is sending, it needs to go and meet that 0.0015. Otherwise, the transaction won't go through. Okay. So make sure that whoever is sending you the BTC meets that minimum. They'll of course go and be you will go and have the 0.0005 Bitcoin taken out of the amount that you've gone and received. So if someone goes and deposits the 15 thousandths of a Bitcoin, then you'll be credited 0.0010. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. Saying too many zeros can go and get confusing quite often, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Once you've gone and done that, you just have to provide them with your wallet address. So whether that's yourself sending from one digital wallet to another digital wallet, then you just need to go and copy that wallet address that you see there into the external platform or to whoever's sending the digital asset, and then of course you can go and share the QR code as well as an alternative, whether that's through SegWit or whether that's through Legacy. You'll know which one, as different sites, different vendors, different wallets go and use either SegWit or Legacy. It'll go and say. Next slide, please. Okay, so we've gone through quantum assets. You've gone through digital assets, okay? We're about halfway through the presentation. So what you want to do is from your digital assets, you want to go and scroll down past the digital assets and you'll be met with bank accounts. Now, this is where you're to go and purchase your IBAN. You would have gone and heard in many of our presentations where we've gone and said, you know, a Lithuanian offshore account or a Liechtenstein offshore account. This is the part of your global UnitPay platform where you can go and facilitate to get that organized. Next slide, please. So we've already gone and covered SEPA, and we've already gone and covered SWIFT. Okay, so to go and make it very, very easy, if you're going to be having transactions from that European area into another European area under that same umbrella, you would go and select SEPA. It is only available, ladies and gentlemen, currently for Lithuania. They each are going to go and incur a one-time fee. I will get to that in the next slide. But you'd need to go and nominate what bank account that you actually want. Now, for anyone outside of that European area, you would go and choose SWIFT. If your transactions are going to be leaving that European area, you would choose SWIFT. If you know for sure that it's only going to go and be within that European area, SEPA. Makes sense? Cool. Next, you'd need to go and nominate the bank account currency. Of course, with SEPA, it would only be in euro, which makes sense. For SWIFT, you do have the option of euro, USD, and also Swiss franc. Okay. After that, and it'll go and pre-populate the issuing country bank account. So if you've gone and selected USD and Swiss franc, then it'll automatically just be Liechtenstein. Okay. It's only with euro that you can go and choose between having the Lithuanian account or the Liechtenstein account. But once you've gone and nominated the issuing country bank account out of Liechtenstein, Lithuania, you'll just need to provide the name that you want your IBAN registered to, whether that's a company or whether that's an individual. That's completely up to you. Next slide, please. And then, of course, just note the fees. So the fees for the IBAN setup for a SEPA account in Lithuania, it's at 125 euros. Okay. And the next question that you're probably going to be asking is, well, hang on, why is Liechtenstein 250 euros and Lithuania is 125 euros? Well, that's because the Liechtenstein bank account goes and doubles up for the SEPA transfers as well as the SWIFT transfers. I know, right? For those people who are in that European area, I'm jealous. But for Liechtenstein, it is 250 euros for a SWIFT account. For USD, it is 300 US. And for Swiss franc, it is 275. And those are both for Liechtenstein. Next slide, please. Cool. So we've gone through the banking accounts, we've gone through digital assets, and now we've gone through the, and we've also gone through the quantum assets right at the start. Next, we want to go through to the Global Unit Pay debit cards. Now, you'll need to go and scroll down past the bank account, down to the debit card section as pictured here. You will not go and see the card that I've already gone and set up. This is the virtual card. You'll only go and see the order new card function. So you want to go and click order new card. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, like I said, currently the only available options are the virtual cards. Soon we'll go and have a standard card. We'll go and have a gold card. And of course, we'll have that platinum card that has no limits for ATMs, for transactions, and it will be metal, which is so cool, so classy. I love it. But today we're just working on the basics as to how to go and operate the card through your back office. So you want to ensure that you have the funds available in your Global Unit Pay account. At the moment, you are only able to go and load up through euro. So if you have funds in your US quantum asset, you will need to go and transfer funds into your euro quantum asset in order to go and set up and top up your Global Unit Pay virtual card. Okay, so you want to go and ensure that you have the funds available in your account to cover the setup fee, which is 10 euros. This is a one-time fee for the virtual card. Other cards will go and incur different fees, but they've been, I believe they will be in Marshall's presentation tomorrow that you should be able to go and see. Once you've gone in and confirmed that you've read the terms of use, just read the box where it says the helpful information. It's everything that I've gone and covered here, that soon we're going to go and have physical cards. but you can always go and deactivate the virtual card at any time to purchase and purchase a new one as well. So just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, this is basically going to be put into 3 sections, okay? You've got the card info, which we are looking at right now, and I'll go through each of those functions very shortly. You'll have top up and you'll have withdraw. Now, for the card info, as you can go and see, you've got your balance there. You've got the card type just below that. It'll go and say virtual card in this instance, and it'll also go and say status. At the moment, it is active. Now, what these 3 buttons are down the very bottom where it says show details, freeze, and deactivate. By clicking show details, the card number, the expiry, and the CCV will actually go and appear where those asterisks are, so that you'll be able to go and do those online transactions, anywhere that goes and accepts euros, of course. If an emergency goes and occurs involving your card and you think it's been compromised, you can freeze it at any time by clicking freeze. If you need to go and freeze it, because you have a physical card and you're not going to go and use the virtual card for the meantime, you might in the future, you don't want to deactivate it, but you want to just go and keep it frozen for the minute, then you have that button there that goes and says freeze. Happens instantly. And of course, should you no longer require a virtual card, then you can go and hit the button deactivate, and it'll just go and take you through another page saying, are you sure? You just go and confirm and it's fine. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, to top up, this is really, really easy. We're just going to go and breeze right through these next 2 slides. You want to go and enter in the desired amount that you wish to go and add to your card from your available asset. Like I said, only from the Euro Quantum asset is available at the moment. Do note as well that there is a 2% top-up fee on the amount to be loaded onto the card, which will be deducted automatically. So if you were to go and enter in the 15, like I've got them put in there, as you can go and see, 22.22 euro has been already deducted from the amount that from my quantum assets onto the card. So I will receive the 14.78, not the 15 euros. Okay, next slide, please. Same thing with topping up, but this is to go and withdraw money from our card into our Euro asset. Okay, so we want to go and enter in the amount that's on our card. In this instance, I've got and chosen 15 euros. Very similar, the total fee amount has gone and been taken out automatically. So to my quantum assets, I'll receive the 14.78 euros and not the 15. Once I've done this, you just have to go and click withdraw and it'll happen once again. Just transfer the money from your card into your Euro Quantum asset. Next slide, please. Okay, we're getting down to the bottom of the page, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so from the card portion of the platform, if you scroll on down, you will go and see the recent transaction snapshot. I love this feature. This goes and tells me whether there are any transactions pending, if there are in any progress, both in or out, if any have been cancelled by myself, so that I know, okay, well, that's why I'm not receiving, why they haven't gone and received the money is because I've gone and cancelled it for XYZ reason. And of course, it's got the number of completed transactions over to the right. Over to the left, you will go and see the 5 most recent transactions on your global UnitPay account. So you can go and see what's gone and happened, at what date, from what account, what action, and what the amount was. You can also go and view the details for further information relating to that one particular transaction, which is amazing. It's gone and putting that, I suppose, sense of security and sense of assuredness back in your hands, so that you know what's happening with your account at any given time, which is amazing. You know, Not Everrich isn't just about, making money or multiplying it. It's how to go and keep it as well, and knowing where our funds are at any given time. That is one of the 8 rules of a private investor, if I'm not mistaken, to actually know what's happening with your money at all given times. Next slide, please. So what we went and did just prior is there was a little button that says see all transactions, and this is how we got to this particular page here. Now, this transaction history has a wicked feature, right? It has the date parameters that you can go and set. It has the type of transaction. It has the account the transaction where it originated from, and it also goes and has the status. And you can go and narrow down any operation within your global unit pay account to go and find the information for one particular transaction just through these filter options. All right. So the first one, date parameters. We've gone and seen these on so many platforms before, and that's because they're very effective. If I want to go and find a transaction from, say, March, and I can't remember the date, I just know that it was in the middle of March, I'd go and put in, say, 10th of March through to the 19th of March, and it'll come through every single transaction, every single operation within my account. And then I just have to go and narrow it down. Okay, I've gone and set the date parameters. Next slide, please. Perhaps I'm trying to go and find a transfer. All right, I'm trying to go and find a transfer transaction. Okay, we'll go and select the type of transaction. I'd go and select out of top up, cards, withdrawal, transfer. Perfect. That's the one I'd go in and set. You also go and have the exchange, anything relating to IBANs, anything relating to trading desk as well. Next slide, please. For the accounts, I can go and narrow it down to whether it was operating from my Euro account, my USD, my Swiss franc, my card number, you can go and see a little bit of a hint. When we do have the commodities set up as well, you'll go and have the option of your gold account, your silver account, your platinum account as well, that you can go and see what's actually happening with that also, which I think is pretty cool. And of course, you've got your digital assets down below as that, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Tether, and your USDC. Next slide, please. And then finally, you also have the option for the status of the transaction, whether it was in progress, whether it's been cancelled, whether it's been completed, whether it's been pending, or whether it was failed. And at any given time that you've gone and set what sort of parameters, and you think you've gone and narrowed it down, at the point that you've gone and narrowed it down, all you have to do is click that big green button that says filter, and it'll go and do the search for you, which is amazing. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, moving on to the final part of the presentation, ladies and gentlemen, down to the settings component. So back on your main dashboard, scroll right up to the very top, and then just below where your digital assets will be showing right there, there'll be a little button that says settings. Once you click that button, you'll get taken to the next page. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, this is going to get put down into 4 separate components: profile, support, notifications, and security. And we're going to go and blitz right through each of these because, they are important 100%. There's not a lot of functionality with a lot of the settings at the mo. So with your profile, as you can go and see, there is the verification status. If you have been verified, there will be a big green tick like that. If you haven't been verified, then there won't be a big green tick. Makes sense. Next, you'll go and see, your name, the address that you've gone and registered with Global Unit Pay, and of course, your unique user ID. Step number 4 is your operating currency, which I went and said at the start, very similar to what we did with the business account. You can select how your account will actually go and operate, whether that will be primarily through US, Euro, or Swiss franc. There will be a language selector integrated. At the moment, we only have English for the minute, but we will have professional translations happening in the near future, ladies and gentlemen. But currently, English is the only option. Next, I'll draw your attention to a separate link to open a business account. Once again, that would just go and take you through what we went and did in step 2 at the very start of the presentation. And step number 6, and the thing I want to go and make you very, very aware is that for any identity or passport changes, you need to go and inform support straight away as they've going to happen, or as soon as possible. And this is so that we can go and protect ourselves. We also protect your account. It is also in the terms of use. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I said briefly at the start about the support correspondence, inbox, right? This is where you'll go and receive any actions that are required from our support team. It'll be any correspondence relating to a support ticket that you've gone and opened, whether it was a question in relation to IBANs, or whether it was something to go and do with security, or whether it was something to go and do with onboarding, sales, what have you. This will be your bread and butter and your, I suppose, portal for any correspondence both in and out from support. Okay. To go and open up a ticket, all you need to go and do is just open up the big green button that says create new message. Next slide, please. Okay, so like I said, you have, this is how you go and create a support ticket. You have a couple of options out of the Global UniPay support team, which is our dedicated support team. Any IT or security issues, any payments issues, so any transactions that you're wondering about whether they have been received or whether they've been outgoing, and you can't go and find them in that transaction history log, then you'll be able to go and create a support ticket for that, of course. Any onboarding issues as well, then you'd need to go and select that as the topic, and it'll actually divert your message directly to that department. But you want to go and enter in the subject and title manner, just very, very brief. After that, and you've selected your topic, you'll just need to go and write a brief message, all right? And this is just going to go and outline the issue, the matter, or the inquiry in concise detail, and just explain the reason, the desired solution, and also provide your unique user ID. If there are any issues that you need to go and have sorted and fixed and solved, all right, really important that you go and take a screenshot and you go and indicate what you would like to go and see out of the support team as the desired result, so that we can go and best help you. Okay, otherwise, it's just going to be, our support team guessing as to, okay, what does this person want to go and actually have their inquiry fulfilled. It's really important that we go and provide as much information, but just keeping it really, really simple and concise as well, straight to the point. Provide your evidence, your screenshots, or any documents relating to your matter. And then, of course, click the send message to submit once you've gone and complete. Next slide, please. Cool. Now, moving on to notifications. This is completely up to you. You can go and personalize how you're going to go and be notified, and what sort of actions on your account to go and be notified from. And we'll just go straight on through. You can decide if you want to go and receive email notifications for every fiat deposit, every crypto deposit, every crypto withdrawal, every fiat withdrawal, every sign-in from a new IP address. I'll tell you, my email is just flooded every time I go and log in via, either my phone or a laptop, whichever was the differing IP address from when you first opened your account. You'll be notified every single time. I think that's really, really helpful. You do have the option to go and receive the occasional newsletter email. And of course, you do have the option to receive email notifications for every sign-in. Now, the fifth option, the IP address and the notification for every sign-in, while they might seem redundant, They are completely the opposite. This is so that you know that your notifications, that you're being notified for every action in your account. Yes, we'll all go and have notifications for every deposit, every withdrawal, absolutely. But please do not stress out on the security measures that we have in place so that you know what's happening with your account at all given times. Next slide, please. And finally, security. Now, security, like I went and said with the activate the Google Authenticator, you can disable it. You just have to go through the app itself. You have the option to change your password, your phone number, or your email address at any given time. I can't imagine why you would go and change your phone number unless you actually do have a changed phone number, but absolutely you can go and do so through this portal. Same thing with the email address. If you think that if you've got a new email address that you don't want to go and have associated with the one within your Everidge account, I can't imagine, because that would be a bit of a hassle. But these things do happen. You do have the option to change at any given time. Like I said, it is strongly advisable to not sleep on the security measures we have in place and activate the Google Authenticator. And of course, just below, it actually has the details of your last login with the date, the browser, and also the IP address as well. Okay, really, really cool. That way you know what's happening. Next slide, please. All right, so we have finally complete every single function within our global unit pay platform. But because we have a lot of our partners who have gone and requested in the past for how can we go and pair my Unitex with global unit pay, I can't go and leave out these slides. Okay, so this is really, really easy. I thought it would be a lot more difficult and complex when I first went and paired my my GUP with Unitex, but this is really straightforward. It literally takes only a couple of minutes. First, we're going to go and log into our Unitex account. We're going to go to the Balances tab. Once we're in the Balances tab, as you can go and see here, you will either need to go and choose deposit or withdrawal for USD or Euro. Okay, next slide, please. Once you've gone and clicked deposit or withdrawal, in this instance, I've gone and done deposit just for an example, you'll have the option to deposit, pardon me, via quantum clearance or via global unit pay. Now, as you can go and see here, there is an additional fee that will be collected, either 1.5% for global unit pay or 7% quantum. Makes more sense to do global unit pay. Once you select global unit pay here, there will be a little box that goes and pops up that goes and says, please enter your unique user ID. I told you it was very important. Okay, once you've gone and done that, you've entered the unique user ID. You'll just have to go and click confirm or okay or pair. I can't remember what the button is, but you'll go and see what it's named. It'll just be paired instantly. It only needs to go and be done once. All right. Next slide, please. I think that's it. That is it for tonight's presentation. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. I have 7 minutes for questions before I need to go and wrap this one up. Now, I'll go and start with the Australian room because I know that those were the questions that first came out. Okay, so Hannah, is there a limit for how much you can send out? No, there's no limit. This is a prepaid account, so there's no credit involved, so therefore there is no limit. You can go and send out however much that you actually go and have within your global unit pay account at any given time. I've been playing around with the demo account, recently while we've been trialing some new features. And I can go and send from 10 up to 100,000 to, I haven't even tried 1 million. That might be an idea to go and do, but to my understanding, no, there's no limit. Brianna went and asked, can I ask why the fees are $30? There's a lot of processing costs involved with that. especially when sending funds internationally. I've been doing a lot of research into other payment processes, our competition, and they all seem to go and have, fees that can go up. If you think about it, and a really, like I said, a really good strategy with the fixed fees is that if you're sending a large amount that's exceeding the 6.5%, in terms of, let's say for argument's sake, for the topping up your account, it's 6.5. But if you were to go and top up via a bank account, it would be, say, the 30, 25 euro, 45 USD. You have to go and work out what transactions and what amount is actually going to benefit yourself, whether that's through a percentage of what you're actually doing, or whether that's the fixed fee. If you're sending in a large amount of funds from your global unit pay account into an external bank account, and it's above a typical percentage, I can't go and say what the percentage fees would be with the card withdrawals, because it hasn't been announced or finalized. But if it's a large amount, then an extra 30 would actually go and benefit you a lot more than, say, if you were to go and do through cards. Same with withdrawals as well. If you're bringing in funds into your global unit pay account and it's a large amount that exceeds the 6.5% to go and top up via a bank card, then it's going to go and be much more cost effective for yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah, beautiful. Dennis, Olga, have there been any questions from any of the other rooms?
At some point, there was a question asked about an account in the UK, but actually, I don't know at which point it arose. In the Spanish room, meanwhile, there are no questions. So
Cool.
there is a question about an account in the UK.
A UK account, like a global unit pay account, or are they talking about an IBAN? Hannah's got.
I asked him to clarify, but for the time being, there is no information.
All right. I've got Hannah's question here. What's the easiest way to move cryptos out of an external wallet into GUP without liquidating first into fiat? Very simple. Transfer Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, or USDC. As long as you have the the digital asset externally, the same one that goes and matches what we have already integrated into global unit pay, then yeah, absolutely. Use Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, USDC.
So he's asking about the bank in the UK. So you said that there could be an account in the UK and you can make a transfer to the bank in the UK.
Europe, I said. So that was in relation to SEPA and SWIFT. Currently, the only IBAN numbers that you go and have currently are in Lithuania for SEPA related transfers. These are only banking actions externally from global unit pay within the European area. If you've got international, banking institutions that you're going to be transferring both in and out, receiving payments, making payments, then you would go for the Liechtenstein, IBAN. But that'll be up to you to go and decide what goes in and suits yourself. There's currently no UK based IBAN. It's either Lithuania for SEPA only or Liechtenstein for both SEPA and SWIFT. but you do have to choose the operating currency out of whether that's just going to be euros, whether it's going to be USD, whether that's going to be Swiss franc. But I would imagine that the most of it would be either USD or euro. I hope that answers the question. Okay. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and thank you for your attention. I hope you have an amazing week. Definitely do tune in for Marshall's presentation tomorrow, 3 p.m. Moscow time, 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and everywhere else. You know what time it is already. Till then, stay happy, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.